Hello everybody. In the previous segment, we learned about the permanent settlement. In today's segment, we are going to learn about the Mahalwari system. Mahalwari system was one of the land revenue collection system introduced by the East India Company. The Mahalwari system was introduced by William Bentinck in the year 1833. It was introduced in Central Province, Northwest Frontier Province, Agra, Punjab and the Gangetic Valley. So the Mahalwari system was introduced by whom? By William Bentinck in the year 1833. Where was it introduced? In Central Province and Northwest Frontier Province, Agra, Punjab and the Gangetic Valley. So when we say Central Province, it would refer to present day Central Indian states like Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. And when we talk about NWFP, the Northwest Frontier Province, it includes present day Indian states, some part of present day Indian state Uttar Pradesh and parts of Afghanistan, Balochistan and Iraq. Presently it is known as Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Agra, Punjab, Gangetic Valley. Now let's discuss the features of the Mahalwari system. Now in these areas, land was commonly owned by a group of villages called Mahals. So in the areas where the Mahalwari system was introduced, in those areas, land was collectively owned by a group of villages. And these groups were known as the Mahals. All right. So the land was not owned by one particular peasant or one particular farmer. It was owned collectively by a group of villages, and these group of villages was known as Mahal. Okay, the task of collecting the revenue and paying it to the company was given to the headman of each Mahal. So the headman of each Mahal was given the task of collecting the revenue for the British East India Company. The revenue was not fixed permanently and could be revised periodically. Unlike your permanent settlement, the revenue to be collected was not fixed permanently and it could be revised periodically. Okay, now there is a starking difference between permanent settlement and Mahalwari settlement. Can you make the difference? Have you noticed the difference? Yes, the first difference is that in the permanent settlement, the landlords collected the revenue from the peasants, from the farmers. Here there is no mention of any landlord, but the revenue was not collected directly by the British East India Company. The British East India Company gave the responsibility of collecting the revenue to the headman of each Mahal. Now what is a Mahal? A group of villages together was called a Mahal. And in these areas where the Mahalwari system was introduced, land was not owned privately by one particular farmer. It was owned collectively by a group of villages, and each group of village was called a Mahal, and the responsibility of collecting the taxes was given to the headman of each Mahal. And the revenue was not fixed, unlike permanent settlement. In permanent settlement, the revenue was fixed and the date for the revenue payment was also fixed. But in Mahalwari system, the revenue to be collected was not fixed. It could be revised periodically. Okay. The Rayatwari system was another land revenue settlement system initiated by the East India Company. The Rayatwari system was introduced by Thomas Munro, Governor of Madras, in the year 1820. It was practiced in Madras and Bombay presidencies. So who introduced the Rayatwari system? The Rayatwari system was introduced by Thomas Munro. Who was Thomas Munro? He was the Governor of Madras. He introduced the system in 1820. The Rayatwari settlement was practiced in Madras and Bombay presidencies. The spelling of Bombay should be B-O-M-B-A-Y. There is a typing error here. Please correct it when you take your notes. All right. When you write in your copies, write it correctly. It will be B-O-M-B-A-Y. So this is the Rayatwari system was introduced by Thomas Munro. He was the Governor of Madras in the year 1820, and it was practiced in Madras and Bombay presidencies. Let's have a look on the features of the settlement. The company made a revenue settlement directly with the ryot or peasant. Now, who is a ryot? Ryot is referred to the peasants, to the farmer. The company made a revenue settlement directly with the ryot. Unlike permanent settlement and Mahalwari system, what happened in the permanent settlement? The agreement was made between the East India Company and the local zamindars, the landlords. Right, the landlords would collect the revenue from the peasants of the particular area, and then he would pay the revenue to the East India Company. Yes, in the Mahalwari system too, the revenue was collected by the village headman, and the village headman would pay it to the East India Company. But in the Ryotwari system, the company made a revenue settlement directly with the ryots. The peasant, the ryot, would directly pay his revenue to the East India Company. The East India Company would collect the revenue directly from the farmers. There were no middlemen, there were no landlords, there were no headmen. Am I clear? The ryot will directly pay the revenue to the East India Company. The farmer was the owner of the land as long as he could pay the land revenue. As long as the farmer could pay the revenue, he was the owner of the land. Alright, but if at times he was not able to pay the revenue, then he could be evicted from his land. His land could be confiscated. Until and unless he could pay the revenue, he was the owner of the land. He could buy and sell the land. He could cultivate any crop that he wanted. He was the master of his land only if he could pay the revenue. If the farmer is unable to pay the revenue, his land could be confiscated. He could be evicted from his land. The revenue rates were higher than permanent settlement. The revenue rates under Ryotwari system was higher than that of the permanent settlement. The revenue was to be only paid in cash. The revenue was to be paid in cash and not by any other means. The revenue was fixed according to the fertility of the land. Now, this particular feature is one of the most important features, or one of the most striking features of Ryotwari system. The revenue was fixed according to the fertility of the soil. In the permanent settlement, the revenue was just fixed, right? The farmer had to pay the fixed revenue, whether his soil was fertile or not, whether his production was good enough or not was secondary matter. He had to pay his tax anyhow, by any means, right? But under the Ryotwari system, the revenue was fixed according to the fertility of the soil. That is more fertile the soil, the more will be the tax, the more will be the revenue. Less fertile the soil, less will be the revenue. Am I clear? Did you understand the three land settlement policies introduced by the East India Company? Please go through your books and go through the notes that I have provided, and let me know if you have any doubts. In the next segment, we will discuss the impact of the land revenue settlements. We'll discuss what were the results, or what were the effects of the land revenue policies introduced by the East India Company. Thank you.